welcome to your second weekly workout. Today I wanted to put a bit more emphasis on the legs and how hips, knees and ankles play a really important role in our stabilization, and also how important it is for them to interact with one another and to be in alignment while they're working. And so through today's exercises you will get plenty of opportunity to see how your hips, knees and ankles are functioning, and also how good are they in stabilizing your body. Today we will begin with hands behind our head and try to push the elbows as far away from each other as possible. And now we will do an inhale, show the ribs, push them out, and exhale, push the ribs in and elbows go together. And again, inhale, open up through the elbows, exhale, close them, ribs in. Inhale, exhale, let me show you from the side. Inhale, ribs out, exhale, ribs in. Last one. Inhale, exhale. And now just open up again and we will go to a side bend. So try to have your hips in place so they don't move, and just go from one side to another. If you want, you can also exhale when you go to the side, inhale when you go to the middle, and exhale again when you go to the side, inhale to the middle. If it's too hard for you to think about all the movement and also about your breathing, just try to do the movement and let the breathing happen automatically. All right. And now for the next movement, I will be facing from the side so that you can see what I'm doing. This is just to warm up a little bit. I know I said we will be working the legs, we will be working the legs. So let's do an inhale and put our hands above the head. And with an exhale, one hand goes forward and the other hand goes backward, and our hips have to stay just as they were. And again, inhale, I go to the middle, exhale, other side. Inhale, exhale, watch the hips, exhale, and this was the last one. Put your hands down and now just push your hips back, let the hand just go on your thighs, and we will do a few cat-cows here. Okay, and now if you want to have some fun, let's try in this position to circle the pelvis. So just try and imagine that you are having two pencils right here, and you are trying to draw circles with them. Let's do 5 in one direction and then change and do 5 in the other direction. Circling in the pelvis, that was 5. Circling this area is really good for mobilization of the area, but also for innervation, so that you are building your nerve, muscle, brain connections. And now we will also do 5 bent overs. So if you remember from the first weekly workout, we are trying to flex the spine here as much as possible. And in order to do that, we are trying not to push hips back, but to really engage through our core and our gluteus muscles. And that enables us to really flex through the spine. 2 more. One more. And the next one, we are just going down and bend one knee and push the other hip away and then change. So your heels on both legs have to be on the floor while you're doing this. Try to have a straight spine as much as you can. Two more. Okay. And now I will be facing again towards you. So we go to a wider stance. Try to flex the knees just a little bit, because sometimes a pain can be present in the inner part of the knee because the ligaments can be overworked here. So just try to have a little bend, and also it will help you feel your hamstring muscles more. So you can have your hands at your hips, and with a straight spine, just push your hips back as much as you can. And let's do this 5 times. So the feeling is that my hips, if I'm looking where the knee is, my hips should be way further back than my knees are. 4 and 5. And now I will rest my hands on the floor. And you can wait for me here. Let me just show you in this position what we will be doing with the hips. So we are only moving our weight from one leg to the other just by moving the pelvis. Okay? So we will do this same thing but down here. And let's do it 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, and when you move your hips to your left, you should feel it in your right inner thigh and vice versa. So my hip is now to the right and I'm feeling my left inner thigh. 2 more. All right. And now I'm staying in this position. My knees are still flexed just a little bit, my spine is straight as possible. And now I'm doing rotations. And I look after my hand, put it back down, and the other one. And I will do 10 reps together. This one is 3, 4, 5, 'The last one is 10. And now I'm coming up. And now I will face my heels more inside so that my toes are more to the outside. And you can have your hands in different positions, either at your hips. This one is the most difficult one, or you can have them in front of you. And we're doing side lunges, and we're doing 1, lift up, go to the other side, lift up. Just try to go as deeply as you can, but remember that we are warming up, so don't go and max yourself out now. Just try to find where your depth is, where you're still feeling strong and stable. We are doing 10 of them together, so this one is 9 and 10. Okay? And now I'm swinging around to more of a lunge position. Also, if you feel that your legs are too further apart, you can do 1 step or 2 steps closer, that you feel stable. And here we will also try to do some pelvic tilts before we do anything else, because in the next part it will be really important for us to know where our pelvis is while we are working out the legs. Okay? So here is your pelvis. This knee on the back leg has to be a bit flexed. If you are locking your knee, you won't be able to move the pelvis. So it's extremely important that the knee is a bit flexed. Okay, so now locate your pelvis. You can also feel your bones here, that you are more sure, or maybe like this. And we are just going, tucking the pelvis in. So posterior tilt, anterior tilt. Posterior tilt, anterior tilt. If you are doing the posterior tilt right, this position here, you should really feel it at the front of the hip. And let's do 8. This one is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now I am going around to the other side, just moving the legs. I like to change the legs like this. You can also just reposition the legs however you like it. Okay, and again, find your pelvis. Watch that the knee on the back leg is a bit flexed, and let's do the pelvic tilting. Six, 7, 8. Okay, and another pose that I really like to do in a warm-up is a triangle pose called in yoga, or a windmill exercise if you are working out with weights. So extend your hands. Watch your feet, so watch my left leg is facing there, and my hip is really open, and the other leg is facing towards you, all right? And my hip, I won't say that it's closed, but you know, it's not in the same position as this one. And from here, I go with my ribs over my pelvis, and then with a straight spine, I go down. And then I lift back up. And here, while I'm pushing the ribs to my left, I'm pushing my right hip to the right. And that's how I elongate my own body, because my hip stays there and my ribs are wanting to go there, which means that there is like a band being pulled. Let's do 3 more on this side. Okay, and now we will just change the legs around. So this one, the left one, comes facing you, the right one comes facing that way to the front of the mat. Extend the hands, flex the knee a little bit, again just to give those ligaments enough space for them not to cry. And we are elongating through ribs and the hip and going back up. So watch the hips. My left hip is pushing to the left. My ribs are pushing to the right as much as they can. This one is 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And now the last exercise we will do for warming up is a squat. And for the squat, I don't want to tell you how to position your legs, because the squat position is very different depending on your leg length, your upper body length, your mobility. So in general, the easiest way to squat the deepest is to open up a little bit in the ankles. And the knees also are facing in the same direction as the feet. And if we are looking at the pelvis, the legs are just a bit wider, okay? And let's do 8 squats, the same way we did before with the side lunges. Try to find your own depth of the squat, where you feel that your feet are still stable on the ground, on the mat, that you don't need to in any way readjust them. So that the whole feet or the whole foot is still in contact with the floor, that you can go down and you still feel strong, that you still feel able to push out of the squat. Okay, I think this was 8. Okay, I think we are ready for the juiciest part of this video, of this workout. So let's begin at kind of the middle of our mat and prepare ourselves for the lunge position, very similar to the one we were doing in the warm-up. But right now, while we are starting, so have awareness of your pelvis. We are tucking the pelvis in. We are really engaged, but try that when you engage the pelvis, that you are not pushing your ribs here and your spine is not straight, okay? So try that the activation really comes from the pelvic floor, not from crunching your abdominals. Okay, so from here, again, where you are putting your hands is on you. Maybe try to have them for this exercise at your hips. And we are going with the tucked pelvis 5 times, slowly. And touch the floor if you can, and back up. If you can't touch the floor because you feel too much pain or pressure on your left leg, then I recommend that you only go so low that you still feel okay, that the pressure isn't too big, but you can still do it, and that you feel 10% of pain or maybe 20. Okay, so now from here, let's put our legs together. We are working the right leg. Have some flexion in the right knee. Prepare the left leg lifted up from the ground. And we are going to a single leg deadlift. And we will do 5 reps. In the meantime, while you are working, be aware that your knee is looking in the same direction as your foot, and that your hips are not opening up to the side but are looking down. For me, this is repetition number 3. 2 more. And if you can't have that much awareness altogether, forget about the hands. Maybe have your hands here, but really try to focus on your hip, knee, and ankle alignment. So let me just show you from here. You can have a breath or two. What I mean, so if I'm going back, all of this has to be in line. Now we will step our left leg back. And if I'm facing you, that looks like this. Maybe it's better for me to be facing like this. You can stay how you are. And also put your hands to your hips. And now let's just go down and try if you can touch the floor. So my back knee goes to the other side of my front knee, behind it. But here there has to be a feeling that they are coming together, but now my left knee is just passing by and going to the mat. 4 and 5. And now I'm just turning back here. And the last one, we are putting our left leg, crossing it over the right. You can put your hands either here or at your hip as before. Have a straight spine. Push your hips back and try to go as low as you can and lift back up. 4 more. Two and 1. Okay, and maybe shake out the legs. And now we are turning around. So all of the exercises we did before on our right, we are now doing with our left leg leading. So tucking the pelvis in, hands at hips, and just try to lower yourself down. If you can, touch the mat with the knee 5 times. 4. Really go slowly. Remember that the pelvis has to be throughout the whole movement, tucked in, and remember not to be pushing the ribs down. 2. 1. All right, stepping the legs together. My weight will now be on my left leg, so I am lifting my right leg up. I have a little bend in my left knee, and I'm going to single leg deadlift. 5 times. Again, woo. Watch your hips, watch your knee, watch your ankle. Try that you are stabilizing. This is the last one. Really through your whole foot, that you feel the weight through your whole foot. All right. Now, right leg is going behind the left. Again, it will be easier for me to be facing like this, that you see what I'm doing, because I know these are not really conventional exercises. And we are going down. 1, 2. Also for this exercise, if you don't have the ability to go to the floor, just go as deep as you can go without touching the mat. 5. And also for this last exercise, I will stay facing you, that you can see me from another perspective. So I'm crossing my right leg over my left, hands to hips or hands to the heart, straight spine. I push my hips back, and 5 times I try to come with my body as close to my leg as possible. And with this exercise, it's really important that I also don't rotate, that I don't rotate, because many times, because we are not flexible enough in the hip and we are still trying to cross the leg, we do this. And after we do this, we lose the alignment in the leg that is carrying us. So if you can look now where my hip is, where my knee is, looking over there, and my ankle is crying because it's inward instead of being in alignment. So here, just by repositioning the hip, I really help my left leg to be back in order. And I hope you are not all the time while I'm talking on one leg. Otherwise, your muscles are pretty tired, I guess. Okay, so let's release, shake it off. And repeat. So, right leg forward, left leg comes back, tuck the pelvis in, and 5 times we are going up and down slowly, trying to touch the floor. 3, 4, 5, step together, right leg a little bit bend in the knee, single leg deadlift, extend your hands if you are able, have a straight spine, try to lift the back leg up as high as you can. 4, 5, And now I'm getting fancy and just releasing my leg here and going straight down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again getting fancy, crossing my leg, my left leg over my right. I find the position for my hands that suits me, and with the straight spine, I'm going as much down to my leg as I can and lift back up. Four. And don't be afraid to shake and to wobble. I leave these parts in the videos just for you to see that is a regular thing in training, and that you don't have to be perfect in your training, but that you just have to show effort and try to do your best. Left leg. Left leg comes forward, right leg comes back. Tuck the pelvis in, hands to the hips, and let's start slowly moving down and up. Again, if you feel too much pressure through the front of your hip or your quadriceps muscle, then don't go as low, but go so low that you still feel that you are doing your best. You just don't want to push over your body's limits if it's not necessary, you know. This one is 5. And coming together, we are going to single leg deadlift. Watch that the hips are really facing the mat and that both hip bones are facing the same way. That is also very important. 3. Wobble as much as you need to. 4. 5. And I will be fancy again and just move my leg and go down 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And being fancy, I move my leg around, I cross it over, I watch my hips where they at. Okay, I try to feel how my standing leg is, if my weight is through my whole foot, and I'm going down with a straight spine. I'm pushing my hips back because I don't want to be seeing this. Pushing the knee forward, you won't get where you want, but you have to push the hip back, flex the knee, and come down with your upper body. 5. Whew, all right. My legs are burning. I know that these exercises don't look like much, but if you put effort into them, you can do quite a lot. If you think that you need another round, then press pause and just do another round of 4 exercises, 5 reps, right leg, 4 exercises, 5 reps of each left leg, and then press play and join me again. I think that I've had enough of legs. And let's just add some abdominals to the training. And I think that this is also a very important position to learn about engagement of the core, because if you have floor as a reference to your lower back, it's much easier to assess if I am being activated in the right areas or not. I wanted us to go through a dead bug exercise. And by now you should really know the pelvic tilting. The dead bug, what we do first is we tuck the pelvis in, we push our low back into the mat, and then we lock this area that it stays this way. And then we put one leg up, we put the other leg up, and also extend our hands up. And from here, you can try to do, so the easiest variation of this exercise would be just lowering the hands behind the head and lifting them back up, and everything else have to stay in the same position. This is one possibility. So if you see that you are shaking in your core and that it's difficult for you to even stay in this position, don't try to move your legs, because I bet that you won't be working your core muscles, but you will be working your tight lower back muscles, and we really don't want that. But if you are feeling okay here and you are feeling strong, try to extend the diagonal pair. And let's do 4 reps. First diagonal to make it a bit easier for our brain. 3, 4, and the other diagonal pair. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and then I put one leg down, the other leg down, and let's go to the side. And we will go through a side plank, and I will also show you easier and harder versions. So the easiest version is with the knee bent and with the knee staying on the mat all the time. Also, if you like it better, you can flex both of your knees, but this doesn't change a lot, okay? So this position is the easier one. Hand position here is also very important. We have to watch that the elbow is just below the shoulder. And the same as on all fours, we have to be pressing away from the mat. And we start from here. So the other arm we extend it towards the ceiling, and just try to lift your hips up 8 times. Or you can do the harder version and extend both of the legs and do 8 reps here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. And now let's turn around. And again, you can flex the lower leg and leave the upper one extended. You can extend both of them or flex both of them. This one is the easiest, or the same as this one. This one is harder. I'll have it like this. Don't forget about the elbow and the shoulder. I'm facing there intentionally, just that you can see how an engaged shoulder looks like. So let's do 8 reps. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I said 8, right? Okay. And now the last exercise for the abs. This one is also for the legs. So we are kind of combining the two. We will start from a plank. So push yourself away from the mat, extend your legs, activate your core, and we're doing like a squat, but that your knees don't touch the floor. And let's do 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we are doing it all over again. So let's go again on our backs. Push your lower back into the floor, tuck your pelvis in, squeeze your belly button in. One leg goes up, the other leg goes up, hands go up. Again, if it's hard for you even to stay here and that you don't have any space between your body and the mat, if that's hard for you, don't do other than just with the hands going behind your head and back up. If you are fine here, if you are shaking a bit, but you feel that you still have control over your lower back, then let's do 4 extensions of diagonal pairs each side. 3, 4, the other one. Try that when you are moving one pair, that the other one stays where it is, because what happens in this exercise is that people start doing this because it's too heavy for the brain. So really try to have the concentration to really move one pair and to leave the other pair where it is. Okay, one leg down, the other leg down. Let's go to the side. Choose your variation with the flexed knee or with extended knee. Don't forget about the shoulder. Squeeze your belly button in 8 times. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And going to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. I didn't do 9 this round. Okay, and now we only have plank and squat hybrids left to do. So let's go to a plank, go into a proper plank position. So activate your core, press yourself away from the mat, and without letting the knees touch the floor or the mat, try to do 8 squats. Try to have your hips come as close to your heels as possible. And it's very similar to a squat we are doing with gravity, because we are trying that our hips or our butts touch our heels. The last one. Okay. So just as before, if you want to do another round of these exercises, you can hit pause button and do them all over again, or you can just revert back and do another one with my guidance. Or if you are listening to me, I think that in these 2 rounds, if you really had a lot of focus on how you were doing the exercises, on how you were squeezing the muscles, if you were really aware of your movement, I think that 2 rounds for legs and 2 rounds for abs are absolutely enough. So the only thing left for us to do is just to relax a bit, and let's lay down on our belly. You can have one hand under your head or your chin, and here try to grab one of your legs, and before you are pulling your leg up towards your butt, before try to activate your core muscles, tuck your pelvis in that you can feel it in the front of the hip, and pull your leg towards your butt. And hold and breathe. Okay, and now let's release, and let's grab the other leg. So before I start pulling on the leg, I activate my core muscles, I tuck my pelvis in, and then I add the pull. And now I relax and breathe. All right, let's release. And now our hands will go to the side. And from the weekly workout number 1, you should know this exercise. It's called Scorpio. But today we are doing just a static version of it. So try to have your left foot behind you on the floor and really lift up and open up your knee and hip. Pause here. Breathe here. Okay, and let's change sides. And let's go back to the middle. And now I will turn on my back. And let's just do this final stretch. So one leg, this is my left leg, goes up. My right hand holds it at the outer side of the knee. And let's just drive the leg to the floor and open up the left hand to the other side and look after the left hand. So the right knee is on the floor in front of us, the left hand is on the floor, if you can have it on the floor, behind us. Okay, let's go back to the middle and repeat on the other leg. So I flex my right leg, my left hand goes to the other side of the knee, I drive my knee to the floor, I open up my right hand, my gaze is after my right hand, and I try to have my knee on the floor, and I try to bring my hand to as close to the floor as possible. And I breathe. And I relax. And let's go back to the middle. And you can still stay laying down and relaxing if you want. But I have to say a few words. So I hope that you liked your weekly workout number 2. It was a bit more dynamic today, and as I said in a previous video, none of my workout is the same. I really like to juice it up, spice it up, mix some things, and you will really have a variety of different exercises. You'll have really diverse workouts, and in my opinion, that is very good for the body, because the body doesn't really like same patterns all over again. So I hope that you liked today's workout, that you will return for more. So you can follow me on my Patreon account, on my YouTube account, or on Instagram or Facebook. You can find me at TC Kinesio Healing. You can start your educational movement, training-oriented journey with me today.